coming out, you know, the weather's not as good. I thought after we won, I thought the sky would be blue and the sun would be shining and everything, but the weather is a little bit dim. But you know what? Going back to Saturday, it was a great win for us, great for our program. You know, especially for me, it was, you know, it wasn't anything personal. It was just to see those young kids come out and play better and better. You know, offense, we didn't have a penalty on offense. We made our share of mistakes, and we didn't play nowhere near as good as we would love to play. But, you know, I thought defensively, Perry Nickerson had a great game. Edward Williams, Royce LaFrance, those guys played well. Sam Schofield. You know, offensively, you look at it, those freshmen, all true freshmen scored for us, including the kicker, you know, with a difference of month make. You know, last month, you know, I almost killed him, and now, you know, he's making field goals to put us ahead. And thought the special teams helped us. And, you know, Tanner played probably his finest game. And this young Dontrell Hilliard kid now, you know, and one thing about, I'm going to admit when I was wrong, guys, I was wrong. Dave Johnson was right. He's been telling me to play him more, play him more, play him more. And all of a sudden, this kid is playing absolutely out of sight. But it was a good win for us. We still made a lot of mistakes. We're still not as good as, you know, we want to be. And, you know, I'm just proud of how those guys came back. They learned from the Cincinnati game, all the things that happened in the Cincinnati game. We got a player ejected. You know, we ended the half pretty bad. We didn't do some things right. And those kids came back and they fought back and they won a hard-fought game. Any questions? Well, the clarification, I just want some consistency with it. You know, the location of the helmet, one minute it's the crown of the helmet, 1 minute it's the face, 1 minute it's only certain parts of the helmet, and the location of where the targeting penalty foul can be called. You know, if you ask me, it'll be a helmet-to-helmet crown, and that's what I would like it to be. But, you know, here's what we got to do. We just got to start teaching tackling low, you know, like they do in the NFL. You watch NFL guys, they cut them. You know, they cut everybody down by the legs, and we just got to start doing that.
You know, that obviously, I see the look on your face, that's not where you want to see tackling go. I mean, talk about your feelings about it.
Well, I'm definitely biased because I lost two of my best players in 2 weeks because of it, you know. But you know, I just like us to have a cleaner definition of all of it, and just to make sure we're doing, you know, all the right things. That we need to go in the off season and just reevaluate the rule and just make sure it's, you know, it's getting accomplished what it's supposed to get accomplished.
Do you think intent should be taken into consideration? Because clearly on Darian's head, it was almost like an incidental.
Not necessarily intent. It's just the infliction of the blow and where the location is and what are you doing with it. You know, if you ask me if I'm targeting somebody to do something, it's kind of like a weapon. I'm using the weapon part of the helmet. No, I don't think so. You know, you love to have a running game. If you got 80-some plays, and if you got, you know, usually they're around some. If you're pretty decent, you're around 80 to 90 plays, and if you can get 20 plays each, you know, that's kind of what you want. Especially these guys are so young, and you package stuff up for certain guys. I don't think. And I'm not saying this to take anything away from any running backs, but I don't think we got guys that's great at any one thing. You could tell what Sherman is. You know, Sherman, if you ask me, Sherman is the guy who's going to hit it. When you want to pound at a defense, soften them up. You know, if you look at excuse me, not Sherman, LeCedric. Sherman is the guy who's going to lighten it. You know, he's going to run it. Dontrell kind of does all of it. He reminds me a lot of Pierre Thomas. Great balance and body control, and Dante Butler is a little bit of both of them. He'll get you the hard yards. He has great vision. So I think you can fit all those guys in.
With this running back rotation, though, came into the season thinking that y'all would help out. You now sit here in the end of November, and you've got a ton of options. Are you amazed a little bit by the transformation he's taking place?
Just shocked at the number of guys how well those guys are playing. If you look at it coming from a year ago, none of those guys had done one thing. You know, LeCedric played a little bit for us a year ago, but Sherman was in a library, hopefully, and Dontrell was looking for a prom date around this time last year, and Butler was just, you know, kind of in and out of a rotation. But I thought those guys fit in well. I like what Eric's doing with them. I like how Dave's coaching them. So I mean, it's a win-win for us. Well, I just thought, I thought Sherman was just so electric after that first game, and then the next couple of games you got, what LeCedric was doing, and then what was Dante Butler was also, having a quiet but a really good year. So I really didn't have a fit exactly what he was, because you know least about freshmen and you know least about rookies. I just didn't have a fit of where he was and what he was mentally. And the one thing I wonder, I don't like to get the quarterback hit. The protections was a big concern for me with Dontrell, and it wasn't nothing that he did. It was just being a young kid, and he's doing fine. Tanner's getting hit less than anyone I've been around. Some of it is him getting the ball off quickly, but some of it is those guys are protecting him. And I think what we've done, and we've always said we're going to try to play the best players we can, and I just think these freshmen are extremely local and extremely talented guys. We're just happy to have these guys, come in, and they're definitely good enough and they're smart enough. They've been coached well enough, and so they understand the importance of, doing the right things. Sometimes we thought they didn't, all the mistakes we made early in the year, but they're our best players right now, and they're playing well, so, we're going to play them. Yeah, you know what? I think the kids, what they needed was they just needed something to something positive to happen to them. Some of those games, it was a play here, a play there, that just kind of we got blown out because we didn't do 2 or 3 things right, or we missed a couple of times. We didn't do such things like that. And I thought this was a game that we kind of began to put it all together, offensively and defensively. Sometimes you play your best game and you may lose by 24, but I don't think we've done that this year. And we continue to hustle, we continue to play hard. And, if they're doing that and something like this positive happen I think Houston is a really, really good football team. You got to take your hats off to those guys, and you're just thankful that it happened.
Besides making the guys hold hands, was there something last week in practice that you saw that said, we're turning the corner?
Well, I think weekly we've been kind of doing that. We've been practicing really, really well. You can always tell. They say when Joe Montana and those guys were at the 49ers, they knew they were going to win the Super Bowl because no balls were dropped, very few corrections, no mental mistakes. There isn't very much going on with that. It's just sometimes we just aren't as good or aren't experienced as we want. You watch us, we catch the ball at a high rate. Those guys hitting the holes, they run into the end zone. I saw Sherman today for the first time look like the old Sherman. He's running to the end zone, LeCedric running to the end zone. When you're doing that without coaches yelling at you to run and hustle, you're doing something right. Now, I'm not saying we're gonna win, lose, or whatever, but I like the direction we're going in. No, not at all. I don't know. You look at it. You got 11 players. We got to play the game. I just think we hadn't been playing very well for most of the season. We hadn't put anything back to back. So I don't know. We may be a 21-point underdog. I don't know. I just think our kids got to come out. We got to play the type of ball, the caliber ball that we capable of playing. If you look at them, they're a veteran team. These are the same guys we played against 2 years ago. All those guys are the same with the exception of the quarterback. And now everybody in the building is almost young playing.
To me, the Halloween game almost has the double meaning. We have so many local players and their moms, their cousins, everybody's sitting in the stands, and your stars, your playmakers are local. First talk about that and how to follow.
I'm glad that they are local. I'm glad they're here. I just think it's how you manage them and how you manage those kids and get their mindset right. We've had a couple of home games now. We're used to the stadium. We're getting used to stuff, but they're used to their parents being around. And I think it works in our benefit, any homecoming, because you really, really want to do well for your parents. Now, I just hope that it's just, we play well, and so that they can be proud of their kids. I want all of them to play well, because homecoming, everybody will be here like it was announced it's a packed stadium.
When you look specifically at Perry Nicholson, tell me the story of how you got him to stay home, stay local, and come to Tulane, which, recently has not had a
Keith Williams did a magnificent job with Perry. The recruitment of Perry Nicholson, we identified him real early here. I remember my first year here, he may have been a sophomore I think it was a sophomore. We did a camp out here, and he just ran so fast. You know, we couldn't believe how fast he was. It was him and Richard Allen. I still remember the two guys at the camp, and so we loved him up. I thought Keith did an outstanding job in the recruitment of him, and you know, he was with us from all the way through.
How influential do you think it was him staying here with his mom?
Very, very influential. Mom, dad, his sisters. You know, his sister always called my wife. They are a tremendous family. Very, very good backing. I think, you know, he's a kid that wanted to stay home, wanted to be around his parents, and I think it was great that we got him. You know, what they do is they don't make very many mistakes. I think the quarterback is playing a lot better. Defensively, they're playing big, they're playing physical, and they overcome stuff because they've played together for so long. Oh, I think they're going to come in. They're going to be ready to play. I think Coach Fuentes really does a great job preparing them. You know, he's really turned this thing to where he wants it to be. He's stuck with those kids, and those kids are really, really paying off for him. You know, I like his team. He has a really good football team. So it's going to be a tough game for us.
Do you have any advantage with your son having been there? Does he knows some of these players,
He knows a few of them, but I don't think he played very much with them because, you know, they were younger kids, and you know, he hurt his foot and he was done. He never played under the coach or anything.
no advantage?
No, I don't think so.
How close was Terry to not being able to play? I know that you were pessimistic in the spring, like no one was going to be. When did you kind of get the medical report you needed, and at what point did you say, let's start out?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't believe he was going to be honest with you, we prepared for him not to play. You know, just because the injury and just being a young kid, just knowing, you know, young kids don't vote well with coming back from injury. And it was told early on that he may not be able to ever play. It was told that he may have to miss another year. And then, you know, one thing about Perry, now when you see him in the hallway, whenever you see him, he's always positive, and he always going to tell you, Coach, I'm playing. I'm coming out, I'm doing it. And when he had that much confidence, I was good. When I saw him make a couple plays in fall camp, I knew he would be able to play, but I still didn't know, you know, he would be a starter. But I knew he would play then in fall camp.
You mentioned about Memphis. What lessons or whatever can you take from the way they built their program? Coach came in the same year you did. They're now bowl eligible this year. Are there parallels? Are there things, advantage they have that you don't?
We got it. We had our seniors last year, and they got them this year. And I think that's the way you got to build a program. You come in, we find out who your best players are, what year they are. We had our best players last year, and so now that's what they're doing. If you look at their roster, throughout their roster, he's doing it the right way. They're a senior-riddled team. There's seniors all over, older kids. Those guys been playing for 3 years, and they took their bumps and bruises their first couple years, and now they're playing well. Absolutely. You know, I thought the week before against Cincinnati when we lost Gilbert, our defense just went, you know, you could just see them. They're coming off the field and they're reacting like it was the end of the world. Well, it's never the end of the world. We got 3/4 of a game to play. And so this time it was like just, hey, I heard them saying it, next man up. You know, let's go. And so in a week they've learned a little bit about the difference in, you know, an injury or whatever, or getting thrown out of a game, and how you got to come back and how you got to respond. Anything else?
Did you get any clarification? I mean, did you question that with the officials?
The question, my question was not so much the penalty. My question was, you threw the flag, and then why would you just go and pick it up? And I didn't see the onside kick. I had another timeout. I was going to use my second timeout to make sure we were balanced because I had a feeling they were going to do it again. So I wanted them to stop play, explain to me what happened more than anything. And if it said it was no penalty, it's no penalty. But you can't just throw a flag and then wait about 10 seconds and go back and just pick it up and put it in your pocket. I wanted to figure out, and to be honest with you, I thought they had too many men on the field. That's what I thought. It's because I didn't see the guy jump offside. Anything else? Thank you, guys.